So I was just kidding. I was stopped during the meeting.
Okay.
Bill was there
It
too.
is 7 o'clock.
Tasers that we
Yeah.
got.
We're gonna call this meeting to order.
Okay, stuff.
Today is Tuesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 2026, 7 p.m. We'll call this regular meeting of the Bristol Town Council work session to order. Start off with the pledge of allegiance. Chet, would you like to lead us tonight?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start off with roll call. Start to my left. Doug B. Smith.
Here.
Kathy Burke.
Here.
Greg Dolsky.
Here.
Jeff Beachy is here. Absent from council, Dean Renfro. To my left, Town Marshal Steve Frame.
Here.
Legal counsel Alex Bowman.
Here.
Clerk Treasurer Kathy Antonelli.
Present.
Town Manager Mike Yoder.
Here.
And Assistant Fire Chief Jimmy Haynes.
Hello.
Good evening. Okay, everybody had a chance to review the agenda.
Yes.
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 Any additions, corrections, or modifications to the agenda?
Nope.
Okay. The agenda will stand as published. We'll get right into reports and chat. Looks like you're first up.
Great. All right.
Welcome.
Better kiss than I am a baseball first up. That wouldn't be pretty. Well, I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks so much for the invitation from you. And we are impacting lives in Bristol, lives in homes, and that's so cool. And I'm delighted to be a part of it and following Chris Garner's shoots. I feel like I have my feet wet now and seeing a lot of good things. And they in turn, our neighbors impact us. My very first encounter shopping. I've been in quite a few food pantries, but this one, my very first day one, was a real God thing. I went out in the parking lot with the woman beside me. I could tell she was kind of just almost out of breath, and she had high energy, and she was motivating me. And I said, "You seem like you've done something good in life lately. Why don't you tell me about it?" She looked at me and she said, "I guess it's good." And she said, "I think it's good, but I'm not sure at 4:30 in the morning." I said, 4:30 in the morning? And she said, "Well, I took in 5 kids to my mobile home." Now they were, yes, that's what I said, 5? And she's like, "Well, they're indirectly connected to my family, but not exactly. But these kids had nowhere to go, and I didn't want them to go into the system." And she said, the youngest boy has cerebral palsy. And she said, "I just didn't know what I was biting off." And she said, "So 4:30, 4:45, I've got to be up." And he has a whole hour routine, and then he needs therapy in there as I get him ready. He has a special diet, special needs. I'm learning about that. And then she said a little after 6, then I wake up the other kids, and I gotta get them ready for the bus. And she said, "I work almost a full-time job, and I'm looking into my mom too." Whew. And she was leaving after, and so it just really impacted me, the sacrifice there. I was having a little bit of a pity party mentally that morning because I was taking care of my mom and dad at Greencroft. My mom passed away now with dementia. And and so I was kind of in the throes of that, and like, oh wow, I bit off a lot here. And then when I heard her story, I was like, oh my goodness, she so motivated me. And then the next woman too, in a different way, the next shopper. So that was day 1 for me back in October. And then just another quick vignette from last Thursday night, or Thursday night before last. I told Mike already. A woman came in, and one of our neighbors came in from Bristol, and she sat there. When someone sat at the table and they go, ugh, like this when they come in, took a number, we greeted her. And I sat down beside her and just said, "So, how you doing tonight?" And she said, "Fine." I said, "No, you're not." I said, "Sometimes I'm doing really crappy." And how are you really doing? Having to be kind of a quiet space there where I could do that. And she said, "Well," she said, and we started talking. And then I said, "And tell me about your family." And she said, "Well, sometimes families die." And I said, "Your mom and dad died?" And she said, "Yeah, they did. Now they did leave me a small house." And she said, "I'm very thankful for that." But she said, 2 weeks ago, I took in a homeless couple. And I said, "You took them into your house. And did you think you were doing that overnight?" And she said, "Yes." She said they were in a warehouse not far from here, no heat, that sort of thing. And then they were in a mobile home. Now, at the hub, we relate to ordinary folks in a lot of ways, and yet we do also go and delivering groceries to a guy in the woods in Montville this winter. You can imagine being in a tent. But she said, I was homeless briefly at one point in my life, and I've never forgotten that. And so she said, I said, are they appreciative? They've been in your house 2 weeks. She said, oh, they're incredibly appreciative. Because in the mobile home that was burned out, they had no heat, and now they do. And she said, they're helping me around the house. And she looked at me and said, I guess they're my family now. And, we neighbors need to help neighbors. Now, that is the mantra of the hub, neighbors coming alongside neighbors. And I think at the hub, we're feeding hundreds of families hungry. Some are genuinely hungry and walking alongside them with ongoing emotional and spiritual support. We're a small staff, so we use a few hundred volunteers from our wonderful community who come in and help us with that. And I love that. Our volunteers are amazing. In Life Resources, Sarah Ferris leads that initiative. She is doing then social work alongside that. And that often looks like assistance and since January 1, it has, we've set a new record. We have here, how many families was it? Oh, I don't have the figure. Was it 59 family? I'm not sure on that. But since 59. Anyway, we set a record for January and February, as you can imagine, come alongside the families. We did 85 families with that long interview where we come alongside and kind of follow up. I think it was 39 families we did. Sorry, I don't have that figure in front of me in January and February. So it's been pretty intense since Christmas. Did predict that, but it was a little more than I expected. In some cases, she goes the extra mile that we do with helping them establish a budget, apply for Medicaid, food stamps where appropriate. And yet more than that, it's trying to help neighbor come alongside neighbor. And it can feel like a drop in the bucket. Sometimes it can feel kind of minimal. But for that person and that family in Bristol or greater Bristol, it's really significant and can be. And I think that's a good segue to kind of why I'm here. When I came on, I did my investigative work on the hub and on Bristol. And what really drew me and attracted me was the website, and then interviewing Chris, and then Tom MacArthur, the chair of the board. And I kept hearing the word holistic and the desire to do more. And I love the fact that the hub has this wonderful legacy and history of walking alongside families in crisis and need. And honestly, that was way before Chris Garner. I mean, I don't know how many years the food pantry has been there, in a small way, in an embryonic way, but growing very, very largely these last years, and it's beautiful. But my background is a little more the development and the empowering families and the prevention. If we can come along families in their life situation and give, they have many skills, but to come alongside in a greater way and give wisdom, character building, life skills. And so they really feel, the dad or the mom really feels empowered. I did not know that. And or now with these parenting trainings, I feel like I can do it. Men are so marginalized in our homes today. It's kind of my passion is men. So anyway, we are full board with the board support and now developing trainings, workshops and seminars with partners, not by ourselves. And I'll just pass those out here to show some of what's upcoming. We'll just take those and come around. So that's a new segue or a new amplification of Life Resources that I'm pretty pumped about. I'll just highlight a few of those there. Powerful parenting. We do not have the capacity. I'd love to do a few parenting workshops. Pastor by background, a lot of community work, some university work on parenting research and all. But I know better than that. It's better. We have Triple P in this county, so why wouldn't we use them? So they're doing 7 parenting workshops. They've already kicked them off for us. Building peace and reducing conflict at home and work. Homes and lives get messy. If you have a family, then you probably have figured that out. And if not, let me know. If my family's messy, I'm just was doing a graveside service in Eastern Pennsylvania with all my relatives, and that's gotten a little interesting. As you, not everyone gets along. I'll put it that way. But that's coming on soon. Master Your Money, that's La Casa. We won't kick it off. They'll kick it off, but they're going to kick it off in Bristol. And they're going to offer an excellent quality workshop, two-part workshop right here in Bristol. And that's where my passion is to put Bristol a little bit more on the map in Elkhart County as a place where you want a really good training, you want a really good seminar. I was talking to a therapist today about trauma and healing, and boy, is he good, and it has a real, just hits his background. I dabble in that, but he really has the degrees and all, and so it's a little premature to say his name, but we should have some really good trauma and healing workshops coming up soon in the late spring. My prof over here will be doing once a month or once every 6 weeks, a good gardening workshop, and I won't keep you, but the one I'm really going for is the bottom one there, gaining, keeping, thriving, and good employment. Jesus said, when you go into a town, you eat what is set before you. In other words, shut my big mouth and look at the assets and look at the strengths of this community. Look at the industry here. And as I interview employers and talk to employers, no doubt you find the same thing. It's that lack of resilience. We thought he was a good worker, but I don't know. The supervisor told him something, he just walked out, and his wife's going, "Oh my goodness, how could you walk out of that job?" And people just blow up. And so to have to be able to do the anger management, we men need to manage our emotions, and that's what I did a lot in Cincinnati for the last year before coming here, working with groups of guys, men and women, on that emotional self-regulation and those soft skills that we all need pre-employment. Maybe before we go into the program at Goodwill or before we go over to Satellite Industries. Just had a real good chat with them about this workshop. And they were saying, bring it on. We'd love to maybe we'll partner in some way. And so those sort of conversations. But that's all coming at you real quick. But I just said to Mike, maybe the town council and Bristol Town might come alongside us in a little more robust way financially. So I would just encourage and challenge you that way. But above all, say it's awesome to be here. It's a privilege for me. And I feel like it's at the end of my kind of life, maybe the end of my career, the last, I don't know how many years. I feel like I've landed in a good place. It's a wonderful community, and I know you guys make it better every day. So thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Really
Yeah.
appreciate the update. It sounds like you've got a lot going on and a lot of energy behind you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot of good people.
Yeah. Well,
Keep
good.
going.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Thank-
Sarah's great.
I just wondered, could you share a little bit about some of the concerns about the school consolidation, how that might impact Bristol
Yeah.
kids?
Yeah, one thing for us directly, we if you don't know, we have a food pantry over in the school. Now it is more of a snack-based pantry and so when it comes, well, through the year, it's used now at Bristol Elementary, but especially testing. Research shows that kids are not hungry when they take their tests. It really impacts scores, and actually, it's statistically significantly, quite significant. Now, we all know the school is closing. They've asked us to then take it over to Eastwood School, which is a much larger, cohort of group of students there. And so we're evaluating that. I certainly think we will. We'll do whatever we can. In terms of the children, I understand that I'm telling you, I'm no doubt that quite a few who have the wherewithal will get driven out to Middlebury. I don't mean I surprise this too much. It'll tend to be more your Title I students in general who go to make that transition to Eastwood. And so we're really looking at that and trying, talking to Caitlin and others to try to say, how can we be supportive as a hub? And I'm not sure what you want me to bring out there, if I'm being helpful or just random, but yeah.
So far, I think you're good. It
Yeah.
might have triggered some other
Yeah,
questions.
sure. Yeah,
No, I think it's obviously a challenging time for the school.
yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Hopefully you can make an impact with either the students that remain, that go to Middlebury or Eastwood, whichever the case is.
Yeah, and we've said we will try to do our best to, we haven't officially said it as the board and all, but certainly our staff and the conversations we have, we're gonna try to do the best we can to follow them and stay in contact with the parents, yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
Good. Okay. Anybody have questions for Chad?
No.
Okay.
Just
well,
keep up
thank
the
you
good
again.
work.
Yeah,
Thanks.
okay. What do you have for us tonight, Mike?
Well, first of all, we started talking about the old street lights, or we started talking about new street lights.
Newspaper.
So we have a number that we've taken down. I forget what the number is. Do you remember, did Jill said, anyways, we have taken the parts that are good so that we have spare parts for our remaining lights. But there's interest in these old streetlights. People want to buy them. So, you know, Chet has asked for some additional money from the town. I thought, well, what if you're not opposed to this, what if we hold some sort of an auction or somehow dispose of these streetlights with all of the proceeds going to the hub? And at least that would be a start with some
Yep.
extra funding for him.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll do a silent auction, lay them out, and, you know, one man's junk is another man's treasure, I think I've heard,
Mhm.
so. Um,
So,
We used to have literature on those somewhere that told, each pieces and how much everything cost as a whole. There was, when we originally bought,
uh-huh,
I was around when we originally bought them.
you say you weren't?
I was.
Oh, okay. Those are real
We're
antiques,
not-
if they were before you even, I mean, that like would go back, way back.
You
Worth
flatter
even
me.
more now.
You flatter me so much.
Did I hear your name?
But I remember, I don't want to quote a price. I remember $145 for one in the park years ago.
There are a lot more now.
I'm sure they are. They came out of Middlebury or somewhere.
Yeah, didn't you get them from Ward Industries?
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, you can just call them, get a price.
I have.
Yeah, we used, I think the one we knocked, the homecoming knocked
so what
down
if we,
was hundred
what if we
forty-five.
looked at like Bright Star Auctions? Partner with them and see if they would do a charity auction, let them know that the money would be donated to the hub. See if they would host an online auction for us.
Or it might be just kind of a downtown event, we get, once you get everybody in there in the spirit of the auction, people tend to spend a little bit more. But we might combine it with some other downtown activity.
Third Friday thing.
This is like a phase, because we'll have more lights in the upcoming year. Maybe the first phase is more of a community gathering, and the second would be the Bright Star Realty Online.
Well, if you like the general idea, why don't we, Jill and I'll come up with some way, either through Bright Star or some other way to,
Because we're not gonna do anything with them other than junk them, really.
right,
Right.
And some of them are good, some of them, I mean, finish wise.
yeah.
I remember years ago, we powder coated them again, didn't we?
No, we just painted them.
We just painted them. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't powder, I just painted.
Okay, well then, we'll come back with a brilliant idea on how to do that and
Okay.
the money will go towards the house. Okay, next up is Jill and Steve.
Steve will talk to me if I'm missing anything,
You're talking about old time.
AKA retirement.
Just to be sure, right?
So what I'm asking is you guys consider some amending to the language. So we have a retirement plan right now that we have for our full-time employees and part-time employees. So we have two sections of that. So the PD are sworn in officers. This is the amended version we're bringing to the council to consider. So it's been brought to our attention that some of the employees just didn't quite understand the current language. So we're trying to make it a little bit more detailed to explain, for example, the first number there, the employee match is available upon hire. That really didn't specify before. So that's the town match. So if they're willing to contribute $1,500 throughout the pay period, the rest of the year, the town would match that $1,500. So let's just say you start in June and you really want to contribute that $1,500 for the rest of the payroll, see the year, that the town would match that full amount up to the $1,500. They can go more if they choose to. So that would be available to the date of hire. And then if the employee only wants to do $1,000, the town will only match $1,000. So we just added that bullet line there as well.
Okay.
So the additional is the town contribution. So the town will contribute $3,000 for the sworn in police officers annually. Now that is broken down per pay period. Most years we have 26 pay periods. So that would be divided. So if you leave mid-year, you're not gonna get the 3,000. You're gonna stop wherever you're at through that calendar. But that begins the employee's first anniversary. So that would begin January 1st. If you start in June, your first anniversary, the following year, you would be eligible for that $3,000 town contribution. So we wanted to make sure the language, so the employees knew the match is basically eligible right from the date of hire. Where the town contribution for the sworn in officers is 3,000 would be after the first year. Trying to read down the bottom. So we just broke it down. Basically, you can be eligible to $4,500 if you do the full match. Part-time employees. So they're also eligible, but I'm questioning, does the council want to consider continuing that benefit for our part-time? One, we don't even have any part-time employees that would be eligible, but you never know what the future holds.
Randy?
Randy would be. Sorry, Randy. But he is not part of that retirement currently.
Right.
So if we continue that, he could be eligible to receive half of what the sworn in officers are receiving. That's basically the verbiage. They would receive half and be eligible the same date of hire and after the first year calendar of employment. So if the council would like to continue, because that's what it states in the employee handbook, or is that something we would like to eliminate? Because the part-time employee currently, Steve, if I'm correct, are not eligible for the benefits. It would just be the retirement only right now.
Right, my personal opinion, I was shocked when I found out our part-time employees are getting like how they don't any longer because I eliminated it or requested that be eliminated. I honestly, my personal opinion is I don't think a part-time employee should be getting those kind of benefits, like the retirement and everything else. I
I
mean,
don't think so.
I don't know anywhere else where that's occurring.
Yeah.
So, you know, I honestly, I'd just like to see it eliminated from the police side of it anyway. We only have one, it'd be the ordinance officer.
We don't have any part-time on the civil side, do we?
Not currently, but we have in the past,
What defines part-time?
30 hours,
30 hours
Yeah.
a week,
Mhm.
year round,
an average.
an
Yeah.
average, so like a summertime mowing
Would
part-time
not be eligible.
would not be eligible.
Right.
I have
That
a
would be a
question.
seasonal employee, not a part-time.
I have a question on that number one for the full-time, the wording. So this contribution is going to start from day one of hire,
Are we talking the
number
match?
one,
It's an.
on the employee,
So
the
if
full-time,
that would be a match, correct? That is, they're eligible for the match
starting day one of employment.
for the first payroll if they want to
Okay.
contribute.
And I don't know if somebody'd be confused by the part you've got in the broad there, the employee must contribute, and I understand that, but that's kind of like more of an example, right?
For the employee must contribute. 15.
Yeah, because the
Yeah,
line
something
before
similar.
that, you're saying dollar for dollar up to, and then
Mhm.
you're saying, and I understand the two kind of say the same thing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mhm. I'm just showing the 1,500 down below, just showing
Yeah.
that's the full amount that the town would contribute for the match. But we
Okay,
can eliminate the first bullet.
well, that's more explanatory than the employee part is. I
And
think.
I think
Or
that's
add to the first line.
right, and some people don't take advantage of the full match, so if you only want to contribute $1,000, the town
Mhm.
will at least match $1,000 as well, but the 1,500 is the max
Yeah.
So the first year, they only get 1,500
for the town
Up to-
match.
in town match.
They can contribute whatever, right?
Correct. The town will only match up to 1,500. The
Right.
employee wants to contribute more, they're more than
Well, then,
able to do that.
up to 1,500, yeah, the
Okay.
wording's a little,
That's
So then,
that's the entire, we're not changing numbers, but We were
Right.
concerned about the wording as well.
Yeah,
We're
it's-
Attempting to improve it, so please.
I mean, the first, oh, my battery's going down already. No, the first bullet and then the employee must, whatever, they seem to say the same thing, but not really. Am I missing in something?
I think there were some employees that were assuming that they would get 1,500 regardless of the amount that they contributed first year. So we were clarifying to get the full 1,500, you have to contribute.
Okay, the town will match employee contributions dollar for dollar up to 1,500. So that basically says if you
Says what?
contribute 500, then we'll only pay you 500. Then the next one, just, I don't know.
Well, we wanna make sure the employee knows that the town's not gonna give the 1,500 unless the employee is willing.
Well,
to
that
match
already says up to 1,500 annually.
It does, yeah.
It just lays it
I
out a
do
little more
homeschool
simple.
match it, but they have to understand that the town will only match it if.
Then what I would do is I would put a semicolon and just put the phrase after it. Only up through 1,500 and get rid of the employee must.
Well, the other side of it is somebody skimming through is gonna see bold,
Yeah,
and they're gonna read that.
yes,
I mean,
yeah. I would add on to that first bullet point
Would it,
to make it a little more clear.
what if we just remove the first bullet point and that bold section be the first bullet point?
No,
You don't like that?
no.
Town will match employee contribution dollar for dollar up to 1,500.
Up to 1,500 annually,
$1,500.
and it says up to 1,500.
They have to do the 15 to get to 3.
It already says dollar for dollar up to 1,500, so that second, the
Yeah,
dark area
like the-
is
So remove the
Redundant.
second bullet.
not the bullet, the bold,
Sub-bullet.
the
the second
bold.
bullet.
Honestly, this kind of started because we were looking into the public employee retirement fund, the state per pension that a lot of departments have. You know, we had heard over the years, like a lot of guys would leave or not looking at our department because we don't have perp or they're not staying. They
Right,
won't go to the
right.
public perp. Jill, Dustin, and I met with reps from the state, and honestly, I think it's gonna be cost prohibitive for the town to do that. I think, especially, I think it's, and don't hold me to these numbers, it's about 12,000, 13,000 a year just in per employee, the
Right,
town side. And then you gotta look at, you have your employees that are here now. You can buy credits in to get into that. Like you got guys got 10 years on to buy the credits. It's very costly. So that's the 77 fund, which is the main retirement that most bigger police departments have. We also have the civilian side, which there's lower cost about that, but the benefits, I think you max out benefits only like 50% of what a patrolman's salary when you retire. So the cost to get into that is not really worth, I mean, kind of the three of us that we looked into that wasn't very good. I will say our deferred comp, the experience so far, at least since I've been in the last 6 years, you know, there's about depending on what kind of investment, between a 10 and 13% return. So it's doing decently. The problem is the numbers that we have. I really would like to see if the town's able to bump those numbers up a little bit, so it's more of a retirement than just a small investment account. But I think at this level, guys, unless they really step it up and contribute a big chunk of their salary, this really isn't retirement necessarily. Now, I will say they're paying into Social Security also, so they'll have that, with the 77 fund of the PERP, you do not pay into Social Security. So, I really would like to, I don't know if you wanna amend this now to change this language, and then go back and try to do, look at it overall, or should we wait until we get one big plan? Because, I mean, the dollar amount is not changing if you change the verbiage.
I have a couple questions, though. Where you say available from date of hire, shouldn't you put a more from date of hire for the first year? Or something like till the end of the first year of employment, or something like that? Because when you say from date of hire, that could be if the guy's here 5 years.
But they'll get that every year.
Okay. The other question I had was,
That's ongoing.
I love your third bullet point under one. That's really good, but I would put it up like the second bullet point.
The match is base.
Yeah, because that explains what you're talking about in the first one.
And then available from data power at the bottom.
Yes.
To go back to what Steve said, I just do want to share, I mean, I think it's something that the council to consider, because at least for about almost 19 years I can speak of, those amounts have never changed. So
Right.
retirement, the dollars have been the same for, let's just say, almost 20 years. And we know cost of living has changed.
40% inflation in 20 years.
So, I would love for the council, I mean, I know we're gonna be talking about this around budget time, maybe some options on retirement. Like we said, we're not changing dollar amounts here, and this is all staying the same, we just wanna make it simple for all our employees to understand how the retirement works. Because we had some concerns with our current language. But nothing's changing besides hopefully just a little bit more detail so the employee, for example, if a new hire starts next month, I can give that to them and they understand exactly how it's happening, you know, what's available to them.
So the first 1,500 is the retirement.
This is all, yep,
So then the additional 3,000.
the town contribution.
And there's two different accounts that go in. One's a 457A, that's the tax deferred one at the employees. Their money goes in, and then the 457B is what the 3,000.
3,000.
the town
Okay.
doing.
And they don't have to, that's just a 3,000 that we're giving them. They don't have, that's not a match.
So after their first year of employment, they will, a sworn in full-time officer will receive that 3,000 divided by number of pays.
Plus they'll get
The
up to 1,500 match.
Yep, so at very
Gotcha.
bottom line right there is total potential annual town
45, yeah.
contribution
Okay.
is 4,500. If they take advantage of the full match, the
Yeah.
match. So the language would mimic, I'll call it the civilian side, water, streets, the town hall office. But the only difference to that one is the town contribution is 2,000 versus the 3,000.
3,000, okay.
Yeah, the match is the same at 1,500. So if you look at the bottom page, a little bit more information we did add. Just keep scrolling down a little bit more, Jeff, sorry. Because we talked about, when you go back to the part-time too, but participation requirements. We wanted to make sure that the employees understood exactly what was required. Because if you are hired, I can't start putting money into an account that's not open.
Right.
So they need to open a retirement account. They will make regular contributions to their retirement account to receive that match. They also have to notify us because we're not always the best at receiving information from the retirement nationwide that they've set up the account. We've learned that the hard way. So it's their responsibility to also let us know that the account has been open. And then the payment schedule, like I told you guys, we generally have 26 pay periods throughout the year. Depending on the year, it could be 27.
Are there instructions to open the Nationwide account somewhere?
Yes, not in this packet, but when they're hired, on the onboarding, I give them all the information and who to contact our financial advisors.
So they don't have to take out, say for example, they've been an employee for 9 months and have not contributed anything, but they could still contribute $1,000 or 1,500 on the 9th month.
Yep.
It's okay.
I've done that with.
I thought I heard something different, like they had to continually do, contribute, but I thought that's what you meant.
The problem is the way that's worded. I think I brought this to them because I had a little issue with my accounts from leaving and coming back. Some of the confusion, I think, was the $3,000, like most of our, over on the police side, the understanding is if you put the 1,500 in, that you automatically get that 3,000. Like for after your first year or whatever. So you put 1,500 and you get a total of 4,500.
Yeah.
But not necessarily when it was administered, because since it's talked about per pay period or whatever. So like somebody put in, like you said, and say they went the entire year, they decided to do their 1,500 match in October instead of January, they'd only get the 1,500 match plus October, November, December part of that 3,000. So that's kind of why I'd like to get that language cleaned up so it's clear one way or another.
Well, that's why I said in there, like, you know, you've got available the date of hire. Well, that could be June, it could be October.
Mhm.
If, you know, available from date of hire for the first full year of employment or something like that, you know? Because that would qualify it as the first year, period, for the
So-
3,000.
The date of hire just references the $1,500 match.
Right, right.
So if you start in October, like Steve was saying, if you want to make that contribution, however many dollars that would be, to get to 1,500, we'll do that.
But the match is available from the date of hire. That's what I'm saying on there.
I'm not sure if I understand that.
Well, the
That's
bullet
correct.
point says under full-time employment, it says available from date of hire
Matches.
for the first anniversary year. Basically, I would just add that qualifier in there. So I know you've got below that, you've got 1 year, you know, what you're gonna do for 1 year. But what I was thinking is to qualify that from date of hire for the first full year of employment. It's just very specific, but
Basically, you want to say date of hire until the end of that calendar year.
no, till the end of it would match their hire date, their first full year of
That's not
employment.
how it would work. That's not how it currently works.
So
now.
if somebody say is hired in October, then
They could get that 1,500 in that short window.
in December,
Yep,
I
if
don't
they
like
want
that.
to match it.
That's, no,
See, we've been having discussions.
I
I've
don't like
always,
that.
at least my experience with police, it always goes by your anniversary date. Like for
Yeah.
vacation, all that stuff.
Yeah.
The way Bristol does it is by calendar year.
Yeah, I know
So
we do
it's
that.
January 1 regardless. So you could get hired in December, do the $1,500 match, and then you will get credit for a full year. It's January 1 and could get the 3,000 after a couple
Hmm.
months of employment. So I understand, I mean, we've talked about this, I understand why it's more consistent when it goes by calendar year, you don't have
Yeah.
to keep track of, you know, 15 employees.
15 different dates.
But it does sometimes get a little
We used to
confusing.
do it that way. We used to do it by
Hire date.
hire date.
Yeah.
We used to do it that way.
Well, it makes it easier to budget this way though,
Yes.
True.
because then you know what your budget is every year.
Okay, so then, okay, if we do that, then you've got after, number 2 says after 1 year. Well, 2 months wouldn't be 1 year.
Right, if you look, that's after your first year. That's the only thing here that ever falls on your first year anniversary, not the actual calendar year.
Yeah, it begins after the employee's first
And then the next
anniversary.
year, for budget purposes, it all flows.
Yeah,
Okay, so okay, if a guy's hired in October, the employee's first anniversary year is, when does that end?
What are we talking about, for retirement still?
Yeah.
October,
Okay,
is that what you, ask me your question again, Kathy?
1,500 or the 3,000?
no, number 2, the 3,000. Because you've got,
You would do
begins
that.
after employee's first anniversary. Well, first anniversary of what? His hiring or,
Hiring date.
Yeah.
Hiring date.
So if you start in October, it'd be the following October.
okay. It's
That's
just a
right.
little confusing.
well, that's what she said was that that's the only part that doesn't follow the calendar year.
Okay,
That's the only part that follows the hire date.
then I'm
To be
wondering
honest,
if
I
we
didn't
should
write
put in
these,
there
and
by
I don't know.
calendar day or by, calendar, I don't know.
It's been like that ever since I've been
Yeah, I
here.
know. That was part of it when we changed from hire date to whatever.
Well, this was trying to make things simpler.
I'm trying to,
No,
I'm trying to
no,
be
I'm
more
saying it's not-
specific.
No, I appreciate this because if it's not simple for you to understand, I don't know if it would be simple for an onboarding employee.
Right.
So what we could do maybe is still work on this a little bit more. take your guys' recommendations that you've made so far, and see your thoughts. I can
Well,
represent it.
It just confused me because it says available after 1 year, but it doesn't say one anniversary year, one calendar year, you know,
Which, because it says beginning after the employee's first anniversary, so which one?
number 2. Right in the highlights, number 2, additional town contributions available after 1 year.
Okay.
Do you
And
see
if
what
look
I'm
at the
saying,
second
whether it's a
bullet, it says
calendar
begins
year
after
or a
employee's first
higher
anniversary.
year?
Yep.
That's what's
I could
confusing.
just scratch that whole parentheses section out.
Additional town contribution, period.
Yep, and then the second bullet
Yeah.
it states begins after the employee's first anniversary.
And that second bullet point on there too says beginning after the employee's first anniversary. Well, first anniversary of what? Is higher or?
Higher date.
Whatever, I'm not sure what other anniversary there would be, but yeah, date of hire.
Yeah. I don't know, I've written too many contracts in my life, I guess.
Here, how about that?
Perfect. That's what I,
Gone.
and then something you guys can consider if you want to take some more time to think about it, but what do you feel about part-time employees? And I would say sworn in officers and civilian, both
I
sides.
don't think so.
I think we just scratched that altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have any already, so.
Mister, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't see. It's pretty generous for part-time employees.
Yeah.
Would you like a motion for that? If we're amending the employee handbook?
Well, if we
Uh,
were-
This
we
isn't
wanna
a
do it
final,
now,
is it?
We want to do it all at once.
Yeah, we're actually, we're just drafting language yet, so.
Okay, so we'll be a revision.
Yeah, it's not a final.
Well,
All right.
How about I draft that with the part-time in the note?
as you start to look at retirement, like you said, you're going to look at some options for boosting it. I would definitely be more. I would be happier with a bigger match than just a dollar amount. With the way everything's been bumping, we got time off, pay time off, holidays, on and on and on. At least a match puts like they're kind of in control. They have to look towards their future rather than just giving them sums of money.
And that's some of the discussion we've had, is like, you guys, like, they look at perf, everybody's talking about perf. Well, perf, you required, I don't know what it is now, but like, when I was there, I was paying $70-something a paycheck, because it was my part of perf that was going in there for my entire career. So the guys don't, they're just looking at, okay, I'm only getting $4,500 a year for retirement, and I'm putting $1,500 in, that's not a good retirement. Well, they need to have some ownership and contribute also, so,
Skin in the game.
yes.
I know that where I work, they used to do a percentage. I know there's a lot of
Yeah.
companies that will only do like 1% match.
And they
When I
can
worked
contribute
with it,
more than that
6%.
1,500.
There's just 6% too.
Yeah, 6%.
And some people do take advantage.
There are very few companies that do 6%.
In fact, as you get older, you can contribute quite a bit of it,
There are, yeah.
After they 50.
yeah.
So
But-
you need to make it clear, well, maybe that brings a point too, to make it clearer. That yes, we'll only pay up to so much, match up to so much, but that shouldn't deter them from contributing more.
And maybe we add that.
You want to
language
say,
too.
yes, any additional funds you wish to contribute or something, well, there will be no match on it, but at least it gives them the option to contribute.
I might have to list what those.
Because we had
match
that,
partners
yeah,
are.
we had that option in our retirement.
So we can work on creating another draft for this with the revisions that you guys suggested tonight.
Okay.
Do you want us to maybe wait till it gets closer to the budget time with some of those new dollars and just amend it all at that same time? Or would you just like us to clean up the language and bring it back to you? at
Yeah,
this meeting?
Clean it up and bring it back to us. Yeah, please.
And if you guys see anything in the meantime, just let us know.
Okay.
That was helpful.
Yes.
There's, we'll take a look at this for the budget. We're actually not that many months away from budget already.
Yeah.
But,
No.
we may, I've been sort of looking that we may have to go into some TIF districts to support some police funding, but Stephen Clark from the county council mentioned that, he thinks that he has found a way that he can keep our public safety lit monies whole or maybe increase them some. So we'll soon be meeting, you don't know this yet, but we're soon going to be meeting with the council members and others. Take a look at what that proposal looks like. So that was some good news.
Yeah.
And I should make that happen. Okay. Next, as you know that, we are responsible for about 4 feet of sidewalk all the way up and down the NDOT project. And we thought it would be best if Reeve Riley did that work, so it's one pour, add some consistency. So the challenge with that is we can't really bid the project. So Reeve Riley has submitted a proposal, and this is based on an estimate of what the total amount will be, but there's also a per something cost. So if it goes over that, we can add more to it. Or our total cost will get somewhat higher. So I asked the NDOT engineers who have this massive database of projects and costs and to run this through their system. And Melissa Cool, who's the lead project engineer on this, came back and said, these guys, this bid is at a little bit at the higher end of the range, but she said if this came to them, they would approve this as being within the typical price for the project. So that's as good as I can get as saying that this is a fair price from Reeve Riley.
Okay.
So if you're good with that, motion,
Isn't this
accept
something
that?
that we have to bid out? Why not? We should bid it out. Right, Alex?
Well,
It's part of the project was bid.
I mean, yeah,
well,
the 100,000 is, so I think this, I think it would qualify as a public work project, right? And so it's on the lower end of what public work projects normally cost, but there's statute provides this like $50,000 to $300,000 range where there's some flexibility there. Now it's unique in that Reeve Riley's already doing some adjacent work. So arguably there's probably some cost saving to the kind of being on site already.
some of the component prices are based upon the bid price that was accepted by NDOT as well. I don't know of a practical way to do this other than this. I just don't know. We can't have us another contractor.
I mean, the practical way is to have Reeve Riley do it.
Yeah.
all at once.
Now, the quote, the statute that I'm looking at here on bids for this type of project is not onerous. I mean, inviting quotes from 3 people. You got one. And unless there's one that would be significantly less, I mean, orders of magnitude less, this is going to be the responsive one, arguably. I say all that to say, strict compliance with the statute would require you to go find 2 other quotes, or to invite 2 other quotes.
It doesn't require bidding, just then.
Correct, does not require bids, just quotes.
I can ask.
I think that would satisfy it, but it would probably put you back to April 2.
Well, I may not be able to find anybody that wants to work with Reeve Riley.
Well, and
I
let's
mean,
face
in
it,
the middle of this project, nothing against Reeve Riley personally, but in the middle of this project.
you're not gonna find somebody to do all these sidewalks for $108,000.
Cause is this from stoplight to stoplight?
This is the entire project where, well, almost, not all of the sidewalks are coming out. It's the 870 yards of concrete. So wherever there's asphalt now, and everything from Apollo in front of going down to Division Street, that'll all be replaced. Across the road here, that's staying. But everything that's asphalt on the site gets replaced. So that's not only replacing, that's tearing up what we put down last year as well.
And are you aware that NDOT's only doing a fraction of our sidewalks, they're not going all the way to, so that's another reason why.
Right.
Yeah, that's why we've gotta do this.
Otherwise, we'll have old sidewalk with new sidewalk.
Yeah,
Multicolored.
I got that
I
in my
want that.
backyard. I've got half my new, half my old.
So, I mean, whatever you guys want to do. I mean, I'm fine.
I was just wondering,
No, it's
you
a,
know, that much, whether we needed to do that or not.
Whatever checks the
Doesn't
box.
sound like we have to.
You don't have to seek bids.
Yeah.
The work doesn't have to be bid, but, much like a, if you were purchasing goods in that 50 to, I forget the threshold, 150. There's that, you know, you don't have the discretion to just award it outright, but you also don't have to get this big plan submitted to you in order to evaluate it that way.
Yeah.
But, you know, that said, you know, of course, there's always attendant risk to proceeding without complying with the statute, but, and I can't openly advise you to do the statute.
Sure you could.
But,
In a roundabout way.
suffice to say, that's the procedure that's in place. And so I think the invitation of 2 other quotes, you know, with just some compliance with the language of the statute here.
Okay.
And you'd be good to go.
I just want to get stuff done. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. Supposed to be 70 on Sunday, so,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay,
now's the time.
next up is the EEECGB.
Did you need a motion on that last one, or?
No, they just told me to go back to work on this last one, so no motion.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, I asked the question.
No, it's probably kept me out of jail. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah,
Energy
you and
efficiency
Alex both.
Conservation block grant program.
All right, what I am presenting is a letter of commitment from the town of Bristol to participate in the, I gotta look at my notes here for this one. The Indiana Office of Energy Development's Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant Program. Here in the office, we call it EECBG grant. 2 years ago, we submitted a grant for 2 electric vehicles. One was like for our parks department, and the other one was for our police department. We were not awarded that grant. This is now has reopened. So the commitment letter is similar to what we did 2 years ago. It's just basically committing that we are formally confirming our commitment and allowing us to move forward with the grant application. With that, it is a match, a local funding. So right now, our grant, we're still working on quotes, it'll be around that $200,000 mark. That's for the vehicles, the charging stations, the electric work, and then outfitting a police vehicle. So with that, we're contributing up to a 20% match. So that's stating in 2027, we'll have at least 20% to purchase 2 vehicles along with the infrastructure to have them be able to be charged. Obviously, that's helping us with our assets here at a much lower cost, reducing energy, and improving to some of our town assets here. So
Okay.
if you guys are willing to, we are planning, we're working on quotes. The grant is, the submission date is April 5th. So we will be applying for a pursuit vehicle. And we'll also be applying this round for a wastewater treatment plant, another vehicle for them because they're often short a vehicle, which will give them charging stations at our new wastewater treatment plant and one here at the town garage. Will not be public charging stations. These will be private for those vehicles only.
Okay.
So if you guys are willing to move forward with that, I just need Jeff to sign that commitment letter. And then we will submit the grant for those 2 vehicles. And we should hopefully hear within, I think, 3 months after we submit the grant.
Okay.
And just so you know, on the police side, I'm looking at a Chevy Silverado. They're telling me that it is one of the only pursuit rated vehicles besides the Blazer. They don't offer the Ford Lightning anymore. Apparently Ford is using the batteries for solar or something now, so you can't get a Ford Lightning.
Oh.
But we're having trouble verifying that actually is pursuit rated. But my thinking is the police department gets one of these vehicles and I'm still I like the electric vehicle, but logistically, as far as patrolling, say it's got a 280-mile range, I really don't want to get into having to install a charger at the officer's house because he's taking it home and charging it overnight. Then do we reimburse for electricity and all that? So
Yeah.
I like to do with the truck. And then if it doesn't work out for the police department, I think one of the utilities or the street department could use a truck then. But I really would like to try that out to see if it was something that we could look forward to future purchases of electric vehicles instead of the gas.
Okay.
Well, if you're gonna do a Silverado anyways, if it is pursuit related, couldn't it just be used for code enforcement? Because I know a year and a half ago, you talked about possibly getting a Colorado or something for code enforcement, pulling the trailer. Could it just go into that role?
Yeah,
Okay.
just something, I just, more than likely, it'd probably end up, I'll drive it, because I don't drive as much of patrol, I do some patrol, but it'd be able to be charged down here, like if I'm at the station for a couple hours working or whatever, we can plug it in and charge, as opposed to guys that are just running the entire shift, and then what they do at the end of the shift. And I really don't want downtime where I have to have an officer sitting on a station for 2 hours recharging their car when you could be out
Yeah.
patrolling.
And thanks Steve for sharing what type of vehicle. So talking to Tim with wastewater treatment plant. So we're looking between the Sierra and the Silverado. It's got a couple of quotes there. We're meeting with MACOG because they are helping us write this grant.
Nice.
Friday with Drive Clean Indiana. So we're just gonna work some logistics out with the quotes. But between a Silverado for the wastewater treatment plant or a Sierra. So that's what we're looking at, because they would like a truck as well. So, do you have any questions regarding the grant? Yes.
The last paragraph, we appreciate the opportunity to support this very electrification project.
MACOG wrote that.
Make have your thing.
Yes.
This very electric, I can see leaving very out.
Very
Trying to make it
electrifying.
sad.
Yeah, very electrifying. Okay, they wrote.
This,
Old
this
Maycog.
electrification project,
Just
is
names
very,
on
I
it.
agree, very
Yeah,
Yes.
I just wrote it.
I write this. I'm writing this.
And that's fine, if we got, as long as we have power.
To make it fun.
I read it up.
You read it?
There was some spots that I had to change because they forgot to change municipality to Bristol, but I caught that, but yeah.
Yeah,
I can take out,
that's not real
that.
clever, yeah.
Yeah,
you didn't think it was cute, okay. I can't, if Jeff signs the document tonight, I can't change it, but
Very electrifying.
Electrifying project.
Electrifying. Yeah, that would-
Electrifying,
Yeah, change it from electrification to electrifying.
yeah.
or just not even take very out altogether.
Yeah.
This electrifying.
But if you, yeah, we can
Project.
take that out, Jeff, before, if you would like to sign it tonight, we can
Sure.
take that out and have it.
Yeah, take that out and I'll sign it.
Jeff, what is that?
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Good water, Jeff.
Thanks.
Are you submitting what you're planning to purchase with this letter, or is it just this letter, or how does that work?
Yep, this would go with the grant. So it would be all of our quotes, along with commitment letter, and then usually MACOG and Drive Clean Indiana submits a letter on our behalf as well.
Okay.
So the one cool thing is, last year or I'm sorry, 2 years ago, we weren't awarded this, but a lot of municipalities around us were just awarded a federal grant for electric vehicles. So they're not eligible for this round for the grant. So I felt like it really gives a better odds for our municipality.
Yeah.
And I don't know what other, towns around us are doing it, so I'm hoping that increases our odds for this round.
Have you considered Slate at all? Like the Warsaw trucks, the trucks that are gonna be built in Warsaw? It's for like municipalities, small businesses, like dumbed down trucks that are pretty cheap. Would that have any benefit to being an Indiana program, getting an electric truck built in Indiana? Does that
I
help
would
out?
have to ask them if we can only do what's the list that they provided us, if we
Okay.
can look outside of that. Would you pull the truck?
The Slate, it's like,
Slate.
it's down in
Slate.
Warsaw, it's backed by, I think, Amazon and Bezos.
Uh,
But it wouldn't so
Bezos
much be
has-
for the police side.
Bezos has money. And
Yeah.
if you've not seen one of those trucks, they're very tiny.
I've been
And
looking at one, I've been
It-
looking at them.
it is a very
Would
generic
it be,
vehicle.
it wouldn't be a work truck.
No,
Ordinance.
Well, that's all, I mean, for just like going around, like.
yeah, it's smaller than, think of the T200 Toyota trucks from the from the eighties,
Yeah.
and it's a little bit smaller than
Yeah.
that. So they are very generic, very small. I've been to the facility a couple times trying to get business from
In
that,
Warsaw?
from Slate, yeah. They're in the old R.R. Donnelly building.
Oh, I know where that.
Greg, I will say that we submit quotes for whatever vehicles, so they'll award the money based on those quotes. But
Okay.
they said that we don't have to go with that vehicle, we can pick from any electric vehicle. So we could quote us a Silverado and decide to go with the Tesla or something.
They get the Cybertruck.
It's actually on the approved list.
Well, yeah, I mean, the price isn't far off from the Silverado, honestly.
There
Like,
were
if they're-
several vehicles.
You know you want one, Steve.
My son's trying to get one right now, so it's,
Jeez.
they're ugly.
There.
So since we're talking about electric vehicles, I was going to Milwaukee for work. And I stopped at a Tesla charging station. The guy showed up with a Hummer, one of the crab walk Hummer trucks. He leased that truck for 3 years. His lease was $52,000 for a 3-year lease.
Wow.
He bought that truck he leased that truck for one reason, because Illinois, the state of Illinois had a grant that if you buy that vehicle, they'll give you a $40,000 credit.
Wow.
You had to be and I can't remember if they're Con Ed or ComEd, whichever Illinois is. Con Ed is New York. I think ComEd is Illinois. Whichever electric company was, you had to be a customer of that electric company. You had to buy this specific vehicle. And the grant was written so that it's a vehicle over 10,000 pounds.
Oh, jeez.
The vehicle weight had to be over 10,000 pounds. That vehicle from GM originally weighed 9,600 pounds. GM went in and put 400 pounds of weight in that vehicle just to get over the 10,000 pound threshold.
Wow.
And that guy leased that vehicle for 3 years, $52,000. The state of Illinois sent him a check for $40,000. You talk about a waste of money?
Really? That's Illinois.
Yeah,
I think I'll roll my eyes at that.
yeah, that's definitely an eye roller there.
No. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so just food for thought. Okay, thanks, Jill.
Okay, a couple quick projects updates. We tapped the water main on Elkhart Street and Division Street on Monday of this week. See a picture there of that happening. Niblock's making great progress and made great progress today. They're about to Charles Street. Expect they'll be beyond our driveway out here tomorrow if things go well. Jill and I learned today something on the NDOT project that probably on Tuesday is when the wall's going to be built out here that pushes all the traffic to the north. We've been told from day one that access will be allowed to all the businesses and to our side streets. It appeared like this morning that it will be a solid wall, which means Elkhart Street will be needed to access from the south side. So we'll have, I don't think they're opening the asphalt plant till mid-April, so that may be a dirt street with access for a while. Now, we're pushing back on NDOT. Even the NDOT engineers were a little surprised at what was drawn in, so we're checking that out. That's really not acceptable, I think. in our
No.
perspective.
I mean, look at the bank and everything else.
Yeah.
I mean,
And,
Just making a note on the police department, we're already, I mean, they gave us a little bit of access, but you can see it's full of water. I'm a little hesitant driving through that way, but for us to get out of here and go left, certain times of day is almost impossible. Unless it's emergency run, we're not gonna turn our lights and sirens on if we're just taking a call, but it's already bad.
that's like my question I had for you before. Why are we doing Elkhart Street at the same time Main Street's getting done? You know, it's logistically.
We had to.
yeah, we had a deadline.
I
That
thought we
street
were
has to
gonna
be
do
done by
Elkhart
July.
last year. We didn't? We weren't gonna do Elkhart last year?
We would have loved to do Elkhart last year.
We didn't get the CCMG award.
No, we had it.
We
Oh,
had
But
it.
then we would have had St. Joe and Elkhart close at
Oh.
the same time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know,
Depend-
there's other details. we can
Depends on
talk about
what
later.
company does the road. If we could.
There is that factor.
Elkhart would've been faster
So
than St.
the
Joe.
MOT or the detour stuff is that being set up, did they say Friday or Friday? So I noticed the stop signs are out at Bloomingdale to be set up for the three-way stop there, Bloomingdale. So the signage is laid out, that should go up Friday. Barricades, go up and then they're moving right in to start grinding up the street, removing a whole bunch of cement mass.
Did we not talk to them about, well, I'm sure we did, but a temporary stoplight, so three-way?
I think they wanna try this, they wanna try this.
We'll try it and see what happens,
Yeah.
because we know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
My concern is this is only for phase one, so they're pulling it out. And then for any of the other phases, are they gonna try and put it back in? So it either needs to stay in. Because if you start pulling out three-way stops and then try and put them back in, it's a problem waiting to happen. So we'll be talking about that more with them.
Okay.
And, so it all begins for real next week.
Can I add just real fast
Yeah.
with the wall on the south side? We learned why we're putting the wall up because they're gonna go down probably about 15 feet.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be some of the
Pretty
impact,
big,
why
right?
it'd be hard to allow access some of the businesses around the store. But we're gonna see.
what's going in that 15-foot hole?
Storm.
Okay, so they're
Down
gonna
back.
take out the old and put the new in?
Mhm.
Why do they have to go down 15 feet?
Something about the elevation. So they're changing some
Oh,
elevations
elevations.
and,
Okay,
that's,
that makes
at
sense.
some points, it'll be down 15 feet, but we were told that they'll be doing a section at a time. They'll be
Mhm.
backfilling right along. So access should be allowed. That's what we were led to believe.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is just the first of many challenges we'll be
The
facing.
wall will come right down to right in front of the town hall.
When they put the wall up, is there gonna be a truck detour then, official one, or do you know
Yes.
when that hits?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
Ponderosa Bloomingdale. So all of those signs are up as well, are laying on the ground,
Okay,
designating trucks. Well, I didn't actually see the signs because they're laying on the ground, but
yeah, I was looking today, I didn't see anything, so,
yeah, if you drive, they were laying them out this afternoon.
okay.
Yeah, so the posts were installed. I saw a steel poster in now and the signs are laying on the ground.
So that starts Friday?
I think they're gonna put those signs up Friday.
Okay.
That's what it sounds.
just a cement barricade.
How long?
Cement bumpers.
Cement wall.
The wall is just a 3 or 4 foot cement bumpers. Barricade.
Yeah, yeah.
Jersey wall.
They're gonna be backfilling right as they go along.
That's what we've been told, yeah. So. It'll be done in December for this part. Chemical building, this is out at the well field, it's the interior, so it shows the, new electric panels that are up. And our tank guys finally showed up. I'm not sure they did much welding today, but they will be starting to weld our water tank on the ground here probably anytime soon. Seems like there was another project, but I don't know what it was, so that's all I have.
Okay.
Next, it's all Alex. Oh, wait a minute, the clerk treasurer, sorry, let's get right.
I have nothing tonight.
Okay, anybody have questions for Mike? Okay. Alex, your show.
Thank you, council. A couple of items of business for you this evening, a couple notices and a couple things to, for your approval. The first item is a draft license agreement, that we've prepared. Jill can probably provide a little more context as to the nature of the relationship and what we're trying to capture here, but effectively, this is, the proposed license agreement between, the town and the Bristol Community Church for use of one of their parking lots for the Bristol Farmers Market. And so the language here, we've drafted this in a way so that there's a nice healthy relationship between the town and the church for the use of that property. Again, it's been my advice to town, my advice to those involved in the process to make sure that we paper this appropriately, so the rights and obligations of the parties are well spelled out. So that's what this is, before you here, as item A. Again, this is, I don't know if they've had a chance to look at this yet,
I
or,
was waiting for council.
okay. So happy to answer any questions about the material terms of this, how this would function, what the role of this would be. I anticipate that there could be some back and forth with the church on some of the language, and I don't think anything here is off market by any means. But occasionally, somebody comes back and wants to change line here, there, and elsewhere. So I think the action you would take on this tonight would be to authorize the execution of the license agreement in substantially the form as you see before you. And that'll give myself, Jill, the opportunity to negotiate some of the more particular terms with the church without having to come back before you with the final agreement.
Okay.
If you look at Exhibit A in that agreement, it'll show you which parking lot we're asking the church to utilize for this market season. So this is the south parking lot right across from their facility, right across from Bailey's Auto Parts store.
Yep.
They're allowing us generously to use that space at no cost. They think it's a great idea. They want to support the farmers market in any way that they can. So we'll be having this season in that parking lot. They're allowing us to use their main parking lot for visitors to walk across to shop as well. We can fit up to about 15 vendors in that parking lot.
Nice.
So I don't really know what other details if you guys have any questions on utilizing the space. But I didn't want to present that to the church until you guys looked over it, unless there's any language you'd like to add or change.
Yeah, I didn't see anything that really jumped out.
No.
It was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, we've drafted this in a way so that it is kind of nondescript.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And again, it's just so that both parties have the opportunity to know what's going on, what the time expectations are, where folks are gonna be, who's responsible if somebody trips, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask you about insurance.
Yep, I've talked to Evans Insurance Company about having us listed as the additional insured as well. Or did I say that backwards? But he's working on all that before getting language. He seems no concern with that. Because it's not our property, it's just holding us.
Yeah, but the church doesn't wanna be liable either.
No,
Sure.
in that language, it states that. Jeff, can you scroll down? I can't remember what section that is in that
It's-
agreement. I'm sorry.
Yeah, page 2, sections 5 and 6 address the insurance and indemnification.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
Language.
Evans Insurance is already listing us as the additional insured. So that way we make sure that they're protected, we're protected. And each vendor, I am working with them to collect a certificate of insurance. And those that do not have insurance, the liability waiver form. So,
I think the goal here is to structure an event that on a go-forward basis has several layers of liability protection to both the town and to the church.
Yeah.
So that's the goal here.
So do you need a motion on this or?
I think a motion to approve the license agreement in substantially the form as presented.
Okay.
The language I would use.
Is there a motion to approve the licensing agreement in substantially the form that it is presented?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Doug,
Second.
second by Kathy, open for discussion. No further discussion, like vote, Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Podolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is a yes, motion carries.
Thank you, council. It kind of more for my own edification too, we typically handle execution or approval agreements like this by a voice vote or, a voice resolution. If the council prefers to see that in writing, and depending on maybe a more significant agreement or a multi-party agreement, we certainly can present a written resolution that way. But the statute doesn't require you to do that. And so if council's happy with that, then
I'm happy with that.
and I
Sounds
actually
good.
now since the council's approved that draft, I can take it to Bristol Community Church, have them look over that. And if they're okay with it, have them sign it and bring it back to council
Mhm.
for signature then.
I'm not sure when their board meeting, when their trustee meeting is, and I'm sure the trustees, yeah.
I'm gonna work Gary.
Yeah, I'm sure the trustees are the ones that'll have to handle all that.
Okay.
The next item, two kind of notices here for the council. Item B on the agenda is the special warranty deed that was executed by the RDC in favor of the town transferring the Maple Street properties. That has been recorded, and Elevate shows that the town is now the owner of those parcels.
Everybody's
So
on the ball.
that's all well and good, and that is relative to the BOT project for the construction of the garage. So I think that's on all fours there. Always nice when the reporter doesn't bounce a deed back.
Yeah.
Not that we've ever had that happen. Item C, for me is, the agreed order to quiet title. As the council will recall, at the March 5 meeting, we discussed and council approved the, settlement agreement with regards to the Lambright litigation. The Lambrights countersigned the settlement agreement, and the complete release. We have that on file with the town. We submitted this agreed order to quiet title to the court, which the court executed and submitted. So the case is now dismissed, and the issue of title to that little parcel, that little area along the riverbank north of Lambright's property is resolved.
Okay, great.
Nothing further needs to happen with regards to that case. The last item for me this evening is the professional services agreement for River Golf Course. So we talked, I believe, the last meeting in February, we discussed that this was the proposal that was made to the Albatross folks. As we're finalizing the structure of the deal with the RDC to transfer the River property to Albatross to take over, and again, trying to finagle some development responsibilities with that. What we've proposed is effectively call it a stopgap, but it's an opportunity for the Albatross team to get onto the course, take it over, manage it, much in the same way that it's been managed historically, save for under new management. So this agreement here is substantially similar to the professional service agreement that was in place with Mr. Carmine. A couple of revisions that I've made to streamline it a bit and to make it clear that this is really the reason this is being executed is with relation to the short-term management of the course pending the completion of the sale. So Albatross has reviewed this, they've executed it, they're ready to get going. The representation they've made to me is that they're ready to make some very quick visual improvements to the course. So that folks know that it's under new management and that there's development in the right way. And then they're excited to wrap up the rest of that deal. So that's the agreement that's before you. Happy to answer any questions about the structure, what's contemplated here. But again, it's effectively just putting an operator back on the course in time for the golf season to begin in earnest.
That's good.
Around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been around the corner 6 times this
It's
morning.
It's not spring, it's still winter.
It's gonna be 70 on Sunday, so.
Yeah, it's still winter.
We joked that there was a period of time where they might have had to clean up a lot of leaves, but I think after the winds last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
these are
Thanks,
gone.
True.
They're probably in my yard.
Yeah. So again, happy to answer any questions. This is, again, it's contemplated as a short-term agreement, so by its term, it would last through the end of the year if it needed to, but it would effectively terminate on its own terms once the sale is completed.
Okay.
So that's what I have for you. If it meets with your approval, I think a motion to accept it would be sufficient, and Jeff can sign it from there.
Okay. Take a motion to approve the Raver Golf Management Agreement.
I'll make the motion.
No.
Let's give it to Greg. Motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Doug. Open for discussion. No further discussion. Like vote Doug Smith,
Yes.
Kathy Burke,
Yes.
Greg Dolsky.
Yes.
And Jeff Beach is yes. Motion carries.
Thank you, council. That's all I have for you.
Okay. Anybody have anything for Alex?
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, it's not Mr. Carmine, it's Carmine.
Is it?
Yes.
Damn.
I was gonna
Darn.
tell you at the last meeting.
Well, all
I've
right.
known the Carmines for years.
Carmine, okay, see, and that's, now I'm gonna, it'll
Even
come to
though
my
it's
tongue and
not-
it'll go,
yeah.
mine.
No,
Okay.
I just didn't, no.
I'll call him Jeff from here on out, I think.
I would have
There you go.
whispered it
Let
in
me
your
see it.
ear, I'm sorry.
All right, questions about upcoming council meetings and agenda items? Okay,
Mhm.
other comments or questions?
Mhm.
Motion to adjourn?
Just one thing that occurred to me, the last topic I wanted to talk to you about, I met with the owners of the lot, Robert Lee complex, and it is Patrick, well, they are leasing space, so Patrick Industries will be leasing most of that
Oh,
complex. But where the office space is at and the production buildings that are right on that space will be a new RV startup company. I met that owner today. And he has 30-some years' experience in RVs and with Thor and Forest River. They're doing substantial improvements to get this building upfitted and into production. So we discussed maybe a tax abatement or something. I said, well, it would be a minimum, just a 3-year. And so they may request that. Any startup that takes an old building like that and fixes it up, probably, in my opinion, to be okay to give them a little tax support.
Well,
At least to have something in it.
Well, in
Yes.
RV where the choice is, they make it 3 years.
They're going to be,
I like that.
they're going to be building, starting out with fifth wheels. So he's got, yeah, I know, this guy's.
I wish him luck.
Yeah, I do too. And I think they'll be okay. He's been around and has quite a bit of experience and connections, so we shall see.
Okay.
It's good to see that complex.
Yeah.
Occupied. That was it.
Okay, the motion to adjourn.
Make motion to adjourn.
Motion by Greg,
I'll second.
second by Doug, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yep.